Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making this really sweet Cityscape Valentine, and it has a unique die cut front that keeps the layers all minimal, but it packs a lot of visual punch. So how do we get from here to there? Well, we start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and then we cut it in half vertically. I'm going to put my score line there at 5.5 inches. Now, some people like to turn these into top folding cards. I usually never make a top folding card. I always make side folding cards because they stand up better when somebody wants to display them on a desk or a tabletop or the mantelpiece, which is often where my mom likes to display my cards. So this keeps them from falling down. They stay standing up. So now I've rotated my card appropriately here to create this pattern paper myself, and I'm using the largest brushstroke image from the Abstract Paint Strokes set. Now I just wanted to create like my own pattern paper here on the front because I don't have a pattern paper in these colors, and I wanted to use this assortment of pinks and reds from the Catherine Pooler dye ink collection, and I'll have those all listed down in the description. And sometimes I just do a single impression, sometimes I ink it up twice and do a double impression to intensify the color, and at other times I will do a second generation where I don't re-ink and I stamp it again. But I'm just going to keep sliding my card up the platform of the MISTI while I continue stamping. And if I have to, I can move the position of the stamp once I get to a certain point. But I just went all the way up to the top, and then I'm going to rotate the card, and now it's sideways, and my fold line is on the left. And I'm going to take the edge of that die and make sure it clears the fold line, and then I'm going to use some washi tape to anchor that in place because I do not want this to shift at all. So this is going to be a partial die cut in that I wanted it to end a certain way at that fold line. Because I want the hinge there where it folds to be a little bit higher than it would have if I'd allowed it to cut all the way through. So I'm going to line up the top platform for my Gemini Junior. I'm going to line that up so it doesn't apply any pressure on that cut line of that die, but it goes right up to the fold line. And of course, that edge has cleared the fold line, so there won't be any pressure there. And you'll see what I mean here as I start to remove the washi tape. And a tip for removing your washi tape, always fold it back on itself and then, kind of peel it away slowly and carefully, and you won't damage the surface of your paper. So I'm going to remove the die there, and you can see how the cut line on that die did not cut through my card there because there was no pressure applied. Now I'm going to trim the end off because it was short on the end, so I can free this up. And then I need to cut the remaining section there so that I can remove that top portion. And I'm just going to use a metal edge ruler and a craft knife here. You can use a straight blade trimmer, but I find that usually when I'm doing this, it's just as easy to grab my ruler and my craft knife and do it that way. Now I didn't get quite over the fold line there, so it was looking kind of sloppy, which I don't like that. I like things nice and clean. So I'm just going to trim just a hair more off of that to make sure I have a nice clean edge. And sometimes when you're trying to cut through where the fold line is, you're going to end up with a little bit of a rough look. So I'm just going to smooth it down there with an extra cut. So here you can see how that's all working. And my cityscape has all got these, Valentine-y effects. So now I'm going to take some images from the Love Note set. And this is Canson watercolor paper, 140 pound. I'm going to pounce it with an anti-static pouch and clean that off with my clean sweep brush. I love that brush. I use it for so many cleanup things. Because I get messy and I don't like having messy stuff on my work surface. I'm going to ink up with Versamark because I want to heat emboss these with gold embossing powder. And I've learned the hard way that it's better to use a regular grind of gold embossing powder onto watercolor paper. When I use the detail grind on this watercolor paper, it tends to just like absorb down. It melts so fast. That it melts right into the paper. So I had to use regular grind gold embossing powder. That one was by Hero Arts. And then I'm just going to take my clean color Zig real brush markers and do some dabs of color. Now with that pale blue, I didn't have to bleed out the color with a water brush, but that red is pretty intense and I wanted that watercolory look. So I'm just going to use my water brush to blend that color from the edge there. I like to kind of line the edge of my embossed image with that zig brush and then pull the color out with my water brush. And then I just glued all those components where I wanted them on the card, and I added a sentiment, which I also gold embossed, onto a scrap of red cardstock, and there you have it. So I thought it turned out really fun. Thanks for watching, and I hope this inspires you to give something similar a try.